What is up, Tasu Warriors? Back with another deck profile. We got the ReGal Kingdom Ship. This is a mortal format deck, so you can grab it right out of the starter deck and get get this swinging. It rely on sword mechanics and basically uniting to grow their power and overwhelm your opponent with damage. We're running 3 copies of King Mason. He can only be called once per turn, so keep that in mind. Once per turn, once per turn you may cast off 2, which means discard 2 from hand. And if you do, you may normal call an additional ReGal word class this turn. If Reno Kingdom Ship will be sent to the dead zone, you may cast off a ReGal warrior class instead. His ability is Solemn Strike. Once per turn, this warrior may attack a target for 3 damage, physical strike, chainable. But you must control at least 2 ReGal warrior class on your side of the field to attack. So he's what we call, has a printed attack. 3 damage, chainable, that's really good. But he's worth 3 body count, so you want to protect him at all costs. Not only because he's a king, but one of him and 2 and the game's over. We have 3 copies of Simba, also printed attack. Lock Bite. Once per turn, this warrior may attack a warrior for 1 damage, physical grab, chainable. 2 copies of Diablo Knight. He's a hybrid, meaning he's 2 or more races. He's an Identican in ReGal. Call to Arms. If you do not control any cards with life, you may e-call this warrior from hand, but it cannot attack this turn. His ability is Demonic Slash. Once per turn, you may attack a target for 1 damage, area strike, chainable. This attack does plus 1 damage for each element shield type card you control, so he gets automatic plus 1. So 2 copies of him. Mainly because his tassel armor cost is super high, which is 6, which is about 55% or 60% of your, 60% of your tassel armor. So I don't think more than 2 copies is necessary. 2 copies of Queen Kari. She is the reason the deck even has a chance to overwhelm your opponent. Plus 1 damage. And for every ReGal warrior class you control. So you can have up to 5 with the Kingdom Ship out. So that's plus 5 damage. With your king, that's 8. When he attacks, that's plus 5, plus 6 from the 1 attack base, plus the 1 from shield ability. So that's 7 damage when he attacks, 6 of damage when the dog attacks, all chainable attacks. But 2 copies of her because she's only limit 1 per on the field, and she's 2 body count, so keep that in mind. ReGal warrior class you control get plus 1 damage when attacking for each ReGal warrior class you control. While you control a King Mason, this warrior cannot be attacked by physical attacks. When this warrior is sent to the dead zone, add a Princess Avon from your deck to your hand. 1 copy of her. If you control a King Mason and Queen Kyrie, you may e-call this warrior class from your hand to an open zone. So yeah, 1 of her just for the e-call. She really doesn't do much. This is presents for the extra 1 damage. But you can equip her with a sword and she can swing for 6 damage. That's the combo you want to go for. Kaiten the Butler. If this warrior is in the dead zone by an effect, you may add a ReGal warrior class or Simba for your deck to your hand. And then lastly, 1 Lyman. If Kaiten the Butler is in the zone you control when this warrior is called, you may cast off 1 from hand to e-call Simba from your deck to an open zone. So my plan is with these 3 card combo with this, I'm gonna show you guys later and a couple other combos. So yeah, it's a 3 card combo deck, so it's a fun deck. So we're running, I think, 18 legendary item cards. 3 copies of ReGal. 4 copies is Bricky. You really want to see it. It's how the deck operates, but you don't want to see it ever again after it's on the field. While this card is active, ReGal Warrior Clash may be called to the gravity zone. Once per turn during your play phase, ReGal Warrior Class may change zones. Or when the ReGal Warrior Class attacks or is attacked on your KO, proclaim 1. So very, very good arena card for the ReGal, opening up 2 more spots so they can play 5 warriors now instead of 3. And they can switch and swap zones. And when they're attacked or they attack, they proclaim 1. And then you try to trigger these effects on these swords. ReGal's Blessing Sword of Healing. You're allowed 8 max per deck, but I'm only rolling 6 because it's really cloggy. When this card is proclaimed, cast off, while you control ReGal Warrior Class, you may target a ReGal Warrior Class you control, heal all damage, battle alignment, and -1 body count. Once you reach 5 body count Tatsu Showdown, you lose the game. So this card is very, very powerful. If it can go off, that is. 3 copies of that. Then 3 copies of this sword. Similar trigger effect for it to go off. While this card is proclaimed, cast off. While you control ReGal Warrior Class, you may target a ReGal Warrior Class you control. Plus 3 damage to the end phase and draw a card. So if you're facing your opponent and you're attacking, or they're attacking you, you can add life to your warrior, which can help them last a turn or whatever the case may be. It hasn't happened to me yet, but with other playtesting, I'm sure it can do some incredible things. 4 copies of ReGal Clan. Add a ReGal Warrior Class from your deck to your hand. Search it from all my warriors. ReGal Nightblade. 2 copies of this, just because anymore is cloggy. Equip this to my lineman. You want to especially equip this to your queen, but the lineman, queen, the Princess Avon, these are targets for. Your other 3 targets have printed attacks, so you wouldn't want to use that on that. 1 treasure, 1 carbonate sarcophagus. Add a counter from your deck to your hand after 3 turns. 2 malicious restraint. Protect me from attacks for 2 turns. 1 Tatsu Fireworks. Blow up to your opponent's back row. Then let's go into the legendary item. To the responsive cards. We just did the legendary item cards. Running 3 copies of ReGal Shield. This card is really incredible, especially with your arena out. So when they go to attack you, you can still trigger your swords without taking any damage. Once per turn, this warrior may block, reducing up to 5 damage. During either player's turn, you may kaiju throw while equipped to target a warrior for 2 damage. If the target is not successful, equip this card to the same warrior at the beginning of your opponent's draw phase. So kaiju throw means you throw the sword at your opponent. So you can use that during either player's turn, which is actually really strong. So if they try to blow it up to stop you from defending with it, you can just throw it. Now they have to defend. They choose to defend usually. And then it'll just come back and equip back to your warrior when your opponent's turn begins next turn. 2 copies of Tatsu Gift from the Bottom of my Heart. This helps cycle your swords that you need to trigger with Proclaim back into the deck. 2 Calling of the Dead Zone to help get your warriors back from the dead zone. 2 Haki Dispel to negate your opponent's legendary item cards. Or if they choose to negate it, they can have the -2 Tatsu Armor, which is a great burn. 1 Battle Cry, 1 Divine Backlash. And that's it for the responsive cards. On to the defense package, which is very, very small. It's 4 defense cards, 3 calibrate counters to negate targeting or attacks, and then 1 defensive stance to negate attacks and, well, not to negate, reduce attack damage and to hopefully draw into cards we need because we discard a lot. And let's get into some combos. So you, like I said, you always want to start with this Arena in hand, ReGal Kingdom ship. Some combos you can do, or if you can, you want to start with him in hand so you get the free e-call. You can put them anywhere. You get 5 zones now because of the arena. So you e-call him if you want it. Then say normal him, effect, cast off, e-call, then add the queen from Casing being discarded by Lyman. And then next turn, just play the queen. And now you have a really good board out for attacks at least. The other combos. So like I said, you kind of want to start with him until you get the free e-call. You want to play your king. Effect, cast off 2. So you can normal call additional time this turn. Triggers King Caden the Butler because he got discarded. Or you got sent to the desert by an effect. Add the queen. Normal the queen. Normal Simba. So you get 2 normals during your first turn. So these are my first 2 normals. That's my additional. And then E-card Princess Avon, because you control Kyrie King Mason. Now you have your board full. And let's just say you got blessed by the gods and you got a ReGal Nightblade at hand. Now during charge phase, you can arm out to Queen Kyrie. And now you have +5 attacks, and she is an attack now. King Mason, well, before you would do that, I would probably switch these over. He swings for 8, he swings for 7. Especially because he can't attack his first turn when he gets e-call. So I would e-call, switch them around. Then move on to charge phase. Arm this to Queen Kyrie. And then when you go to attack, I usually try to go for the triggers first, but it's totally up to you. So I swing for 8. He swings for 6. She swings for 6. See, the deck has a lot of potential. But yeah, thank you for tuning into this deck profile of the ReGal. Hope to see you in the arena. More tournaments coming up soon. Today is also Card Battle Monday. Can't wait to battle you all. Tatsu love, everyone.